In her first lengthy interview since being convicted of sex trafficking last year, Ghislaine Maxwell has spoken about how she feels so bad for her dear friend Prince Andrew. Speaking from a U.S. prison cell, Maxwell said she still cares about the Duke of York, who was stripped of his royal duties over his relationship with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell spoke to the Israeli-American filmmaker Daphne Barak for an upcoming CBS-Paramount Plus documentary. She said, "I feel so bad for him. I follow what is happening to him." According to The Sun on Sunday, which published the interview, the disgraced socialite looked shaken when told that the Duke's lawyers had claimed the pair never shared a close friendship. She replied, "I accept that this friendship could not survive my conviction. He is paying such a price for the association. I consider him a dear friend. I care about him." Now, Nigel Cawthorne, author of Ghislaine Maxwell, Decline and Fall of Manhattan's Most Famous Socialite, has claimed that Maxwell showed no remorse for the victims of Epstein in the interview. He told Express.co.uk, in her interview from prison, Ghislaine Maxwell regrets her association with Jeffrey Epstein. Read more. Prince Andrew's friends hit back as Ghislaine Maxwell says she feels so bad for Duke. Ghislaine Maxwell revealed she feels so bad for her dear friend Andrew. Image, Getty Images. Maxwell was convicted sentenced in June. She was found guilty of procuring girls for Epstein. Image, Getty Images. No way back. Andrew's dream returned to royal life in tatters as Charles loses patience. Prince Andrew has no realistic chance of being rehabilitated as a frontline royal once his brother Prince Charles becomes king, a royal commentator has said. Which royals could take on senior roles when Charles becomes king? Find out here. The outcome of her criminal trial proved her to be an accomplished liar. As to a pivotal photograph of herself, she changed her story 7 years later to claim without evidence that it was a fake. Like her father, she has turned out to be a crook who has no remorse for the underage victims she led to her then-boyfriend. Mr. Cawthorne went on to say Maxwell should have her assets transferred to Epstein's victims instead of just pitying her former friends like Prince Andrew for their association with her. Following a trial earlier this year, Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for procuring teenage girls for Epstein to abuse from 1994 to 2004. The 60-year-old continues to deny the charges. Epstein was an American financier whose elite associates once included the Duke of York and former President Bill Clinton. In July 2019, he was arrested on sex trafficking charges and, a month later, was found dead in his cell at New York City jail. Epstein and Maxwell were once in a romantic relationship. Image, Getty Images. Trending. Speaking about the disgraced billionaire, Maxwell described their relationship as the greatest regret of my life and insisted she would avoid meeting him if she could turn back time. However, she added that many women can identify with falling in love with someone they regretted. When asked whether she and Andrew could be friends after her jail term, she replied, "I don't have an expectation. People who I have been friends with, and very close friends with, I can't think about what they will want to do or not do." The media heiress, whose father was the former owner of the Daily Mirror Robert Maxwell, went on to claim the now infamous photo of her, the Duke of York and a 17-year-old Virginia Roberts Giuffre is not genuine. Maxwell explained she now believed the picture was not a true image, having previously appeared to verify it. In 2015, she emailed her lawyer about the photograph, saying, "It looks real. I think it is. Don't miss royal Liv Sarah forced to sell £1. 5 meters gift from Queen, Liv blog Harry should be banished if memoir hurts royals, Insight Prince Harry back to speak out in memoir, analysis, Maxwell claims the photograph is not a true image. PA Media. Since then, the picture has been circulated around the world and was central to Ms. Giuffre's U.S. civil sex assault case against the prince. Andrew settled the U.S. civil court case with Ms. Giuffre earlier this year after he paid a substantial financial sum without admission of liability. He has consistently denied any wrongdoing. Maxwell told Ms. Barak, "I don't recognize that picture and I don't believe it is a real picture." She went on to claim her email, which apparently authenticated the image, was in fact only to confirm that she recognized her own house. She explained, "I said, it is that image that, whatever it is, I recognize it as my house. But I have come to discover that image I don't believe is true. And the original has never been produced because it doesn't exist. I don't believe that image is a true image." Andrew settled his civil case in February. Image, Express. Co.uk. It is likely that Maxwell's remarks will cause fresh embarrassment for Andrew, who has repeatedly tried to distance himself from his former associate. The pair first met back in the 80s when Maxwell was a student at Oxford University. In the years that followed, they were frequently spotted in each other's company and even jetted off on holidays together. In 1999, Andrew hosted Maxwell and Epstein at Balmoral Castle. A year later, they spent time at Windsor Castle and on the Sandringham estate. Two insiders who were interviewed for the 2022 ITV documentary Ghislaine, Prince Andrew and the pedophile claimed Andrew and Maxwell were so close that Buckingham Palace staff believed they dated at one point in the early noughties. According to Paul Page, a former royal protection officer, the Prince and Maxwell may have started dating in 2001. Mr. Page said he first met Maxwell that year and revealed that the palace staff suspected Andrew and Maxwell had an intimate relationship based on the frequency of her visits. Buckingham Palace staff believed Maxwell and Andrew might have been in a romantic relationship. Image, PA Images, he said, "From the way she was allowed to enter and exit the palace, at will, we suspected, that she may have had an intimate relationship with Prince Andrew. A colleague of mine remembered her coming in 4 times in one day from the morning till the evening. She kept coming in and out, in and out." Similarly, Ewan Relly, a banker who claimed he became friendly with Maxwell during university, said, "I got the sense that Prince Andrew and Ghislaine had probably been girlfriend and boyfriend in the past. They had an easy warmth around each other." However, in his legal response to Ms. Giuffre, Andrew denied being a close friend of the convicted sex trafficker. In the 11-page court document, filed during the bombshell case, the prince's lawyers listed several reasons why they believed the lawsuit should be dismissed. It denies Ms. Giuffre's claim that Andrew was a close friend of Maxwell. Now, the Duke of York's friends have condemned Maxwell's recent comments, with one saying he needs the disgraced socialite's backing like a hole in the head. Andrew has vehemently denied all allegations against him. Image, Getty Images. According to The Sun, one of Andrew's close friends said the prince was trying to rebuild his life away from the spotlight and receiving words of support from a convicted sex trafficker isn't very helpful. Lawyer Gloria Allred, who represents Epstein's victims, said Maxwell had done Andrew no favors by reminding the public of the scandal. When Andrew settled his case with Ms. Giuffre in February, it was said the prince regrets his association with Epstein. A document submitted to a U.S. court said, Virginia Giuffre and Prince Andrew have reached an out-of-court settlement. The parties will file a stipulated dismissal upon Ms. Giuffre's receipt of the settlement, the sum of which is not being disclosed. Prince Andrew intends to make a substantial donation to Ms. Giuffre's charity in support of victims' rights. Prince Andrew has never intended to malign Ms. Giuffre's character, and he accepts that she has suffered both as an established victim of abuse and as a result of unfair public attacks. It is known that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked countless young girls over many years. Prince Andrew regrets his association with Epstein and commends the bravery of Ms. Giuffre and other survivors in standing up for themselves.